Hi guys, welcome to this tutorial for Elektronika. In this video I'll be covering Midi mapping. Midi mapping allows you to control modules in Elektronika with a Midi device. For this video I'll be using a hardware device, the Akai APC40. The first thing we need to do in order to make Midi mappings is to open the Properties dialog box in Elektronika by clicking on this icon at the bottom left of the main window. The Midi in section here contains a list of Midi devices recognized by Elektronika. Select your device from the list by clicking its name. Once a device is selected for use, its name will be highlighted. If you have multiple Midi devices attached, you can select more than one to control Elektronika with. You can deselect a device by clicking it again, so that its name is no longer highlighted. If you would like the Midi data received by Elektronika to be passed on to another device, you can choose which one from the Midi drop-down box here. This can be useful for some devices that have illuminated buttons, for example. Note that you can only forward Midi to one device, and should be careful not to cause a feedback loop when doing so. If your Midi device is able to send program change messages, you can use these to load presets. The APC I'm using for this video doesn't have this ability, so I'll demonstrate it in the next video on software Midi devices. Once you've selected your device, close the Properties dialog box. Now, click on the Mapping tab button here at the bottom left of the main window. You should recognize this screen from the keyboard mapping video. This time, however, we'll be focusing on the middle part of the tab, rather than the keyboard mapping panel here at the bottom. Controls which can be mapped will be surrounded by a box and highlighted. My Midi device has three types of controls: sliders, rotary knobs, and note keys. I'm going to start by mapping one of the rotaries to the master power control here at the top right of the dimension module. As with keyboard mapping, I do this by clicking on the control so that it's flashing red. The name of the selected controller is also displayed here at the top left. I'm now going to turn the rotary control on my Midi device. On the left, Elektronika lists all the Midi events it's receiving. Elektronika recognizes two types of events: control change, which are usually sent by rotary and slider controls, and note on, which are usually sent by piano keys or pads. Midi events consist of four elements: the channel the event was sent on, 1 to 16, in this case 1, the type of the event, CC control change, or NO note on, in this case control change, control number, 0 to 127, in this case 16, or Midi note, C1 to F sharp 9, value or velocity, 0 to 127, in this case 0. So this rotary control on my device sends events on channel 1, sending control change type events. This particular rotary is identified as control number 16. When I turn it, it sends an event with a new value representing its current position. Clicking on one of the Midi events from the list here assigns that control number to the chosen module control in Elektronika. Now that I've selected one of the events, the details of the mapping are shown in this panel on the left here. If I turn the rotary control on my device again, you can see that the master power control and dimension module moves accordingly. I'm now going to map a note on my device to the QT player. I'm going to use it to control which video clip is playing. I select the mappable area containing the clips and press one of the notes on my device, in this case a C. I now select this note from the Midi spire area here to make the mapping. When I now play a C on my device, it selects the first clip in the QT player. If I press a C sharp, it selects the second clip, and a D selects the third clip. Note that I didn't have to map C sharp note. QT player automatically listens for it. This behavior varies from module to module and control to control, so you'll have to bear it in mind and experiment a bit. You can remove a Midi mapping by selecting the module control and then choosing None from the first drop-down box in the Midi mapping details panel. Note that occasionally, due to a glitch, this box disappears. However, if you click where it should be, it will reappear. You can also map Midi notes to buttons, rotary controls, and faders in Elektronika. This works in a variety of ways. I'm going to map the C note from my device to this button here on the QT player, and also to this rotary control here. For buttons, they are momentarily pressed as long as the velocity is greater than 63 and the key remains held down. For rotary and slider controls, they momentarily activate the control, giving it the value of the velocity received. When the key is released, the control returns to 0. Note that this is not the initial default value. Using notes like this can be useful for creating glitch effect mappings. The APC40 pads aren't velocity sensitive, so they always send a value of 127. However, devices which are velocity sensitive, such as the M-Audio trigger finger and most Midi keyboards, will send a value representing how hard the key was pressed. I'll demonstrate the effect of velocity on controls in the next video. You can also map control change events to buttons. In this case, I'm going to assign one of the sliders from my device to the left source buttons on the left side of the vMix module. Once mapped, when I move the slider, the input source changes incrementally. As with keyboard mappings, it's possible to map one control or note to multiple module controls, and some module controls may require multiple mappings, for example, the timeline on the QT player. It's not possible to save mappings using presets. However, you can make mappings during a live set. If you do this, make sure that the position of the control on your device matches the value of the control in Elektronika. So for example, if the rotary you're mapping in Elektronika is turned halfway, like, say, this one, make sure that the control on your device is in the same position before you make the mapping. This way, once it's mapped, when you turn the control, the takeover is smooth, rather than skipping from 0 or 127. Okay, that's all for this video. I encourage you to experiment with Midi, as it'll become clearer with practice, and it's a very powerful function in Elektronika. In the next video, I'll demonstrate how to use a software synth to make Midi mappings, and a couple of more advanced settings. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. As usual, if you have any questions, post them in the comments below or on the Facebook group, and subscribe to my channel for more upcoming Elektronika tutorials. Thanks for watching.